Hello and welcome to Coffee with Jane. My name is Jane Scanlan, the Queen of Making It Simple, from Cherish, Transform and Upgrade, and I help stressed mums in business to get clear, calm and confident through confidence coaching and holistic therapies. And this is the wonderful Janet Groom. Janet, could you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do and your business?
Thanks, Jane, for inviting me. It's always lovely to have a coffee.
Yes, I have my coffee too.
My name is Janet Groom. I am a transformational life coach, an author, and a book coach. And I help people transform their lives, similar to you, Jane, but very much I like to focus on words and power of stories, and also through the book coaching helping people to write their own stories and produce books out of them. But right now I've taken a little bit of a change in direction, but still putting those two key parts together. When all this kicked off with the world global pandemic, that I thought I wanted to do something, and I have founded a little movement called the Uplift. So it's the Uplift 2020 project.
And it is absolutely amazing, guys. And we are going to be talking to Janet about this Uplift 2020 project. And about the upcoming book that has sprung with this project. So Janet, especially in Mental Health Awareness Week, how is your Uplift project helping the world?
Okay, thanks.
Helping mental health. We all need it right now.
Exactly. I mean, I think that sort of the idea actually came around from my own issues with mental health, and even as a life coach or transformational life coach, and I have a big toolkit of tools that I have that I can use for myself and with clients. It was amazing. My own journey has been quite a challenging number of months, because when I last spoke to Jane, I was living in the mountains in Switzerland.
Yes, there was snow outside, wasn't there?
Exactly. And since then, we've actually relocated back to the UK. So we've been dealing with the stress of an international move, which you can understand is not just moving house, it's moving countries. It's a massive shock to the system. And that actually in itself was very, very stressful. But even talking to you before, my big dream about getting back was I wanted to be able to get back to a normal life where I had shops, could go for coffees, because I live quite an isolated existence. Paradise, yes, but very, very isolating. And then we come back, and I had a few weeks of enjoying the luxury of going out for a coffee.
Yeah.
Going to be able to do some shopping and meeting with friends. And it was like my whole world had opened up again.
Yes.
And it was just so exciting. And the opportunities that, there's groups for this, and you can go to that, and you can do workshops
just around the corner from you, not miles away.
Absolutely. And London's only an hour away on the train, and I was just like so excited. I was like a kid given a package or something for Christmas, and you open it and you're like, so excited. And then it sort of felt with lockdown, with everything, how it changed so quickly, that it felt like everything just suddenly closed in on me again. So just getting a taste of that, and then closed in again, and it just absolutely crushed me.
Yeah.
Because the sense of loss was massive. And I've realized, obviously, that it actually triggered a grief process. And the anger and the frustration and the emotional turmoil, and I could feel myself, my own mental health well-being. I call it like falling down the rabbit hole again. I could feel that was sucking me in again, and only I guess because of our training I was aware of it, and I kind of realized I needed to do something. And then I sort of thought, what am I going to do? I'm in a new country. I don't have a job. I'm still barely have landed. Just suddenly then have to do something. And we are in rented accommodation at the moment. I was talking to Jane before. I have no outside space. So it's quite challenging. So we thought then, or I thought, right, what can I do? So we kind of went back to what I used to do in the mountains to connect with people. I used to do interviews like this. And I thought,
Yes.
right, okay, mental health, well-being. People are going to be affected by this because I know how isolation affected me.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, why not create a group where people can come together and start to share uplifting messages? And then we set up a Facebook group. And then off the back of that, because I also enjoy books and writing books, I thought, what about bringing people together to create a book that then can, give people an opportunity to share messages, but also then can raise money for charities that need the support right now. And I am delighted to say that Jane is also part of that book.
Yes, I have created an uplift technique to help. And you will find it in the book.
Find it in the
book's
book.
out. I'm not going to tell you what it is. But just like Janet, I've got loads of different tools in my kind of mental health and well-being toolkit, but it doesn't stop me having off days. It doesn't stop my daughter having off days throughout this whole process. But I think the more that we share techniques, the more that we talk, the more that we connect, the down days become less often, less frequent, and we spring back from them a lot quicker. So instead of going down and staying down, it does feel like a little bit of a roller coaster, though, doesn't it? Sometimes,
oh, yes.
yeah.
Oh yes.
Because you use your techniques, and then you're out of it, and you're feeling really good again and positive, and then something else will happen, and you'll be like, oh gosh, I can't take this anymore, and then you're up again.
And I think that sort of our new modern way of living anyway, there's a constant bombardment of things. And even if you just have your normal routine of going to work and dealing with things, there's still things always come up. And it is just part of life. But, sometimes it can, when you've got constant knocks or you've had that sort of a long period, it can just then get overwhelming. And you're absolutely right. We need to share these tools to help ourselves and help and support other people through that. Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. I mean, the thing for me through this time, or coming out of the other side, hopefully soon, is the fact that connecting with people and community is key. When we don't have any of those, the happiest person is going to feel down, is going to feel disconnected and depressed about the situation.
Exactly. And I think this is a realization for all of us right now, is what are the things that we need? I mean, definitely connection with our tribe, our family, our community is absolutely paramount, because we as human beings, we're designed to be part of a community, to be part of a group. That's just in our human nature. And then, the other thing is, I think that certainly from my perspective, by not having a garden, because I love my garden, and not having one makes me appreciate, nature so much more.
Definitely. Yeah, I totally agree with you there. And thankfully, all sort of time restrictions have come off, so we can spend a lot more time in nature, which is fantastic.
Yes.
So, would you like to tell us a little bit about the different people that you've brought together for this Uplift 2020 project?
Absolutely. Well, in the book, there's about 40 contributors. Some of them, like yourself, are coaches and healers. So they have coming from a slightly business perspective, but have great
Mm-hmm.
tools to share. We have some poets. We have artists. Um, we have some people have shared quotes, mantras, affirmations. I mean, it is kind of a little bit of a mixed bag of a book, but it's real people. It's real people sharing their stories, sharing their tools, sharing something to uplift or a message to share. And
Yes.
the messages that are being shared, I mean, initially there was a couple that came through and I went, oh, I'm not sure about that's not very uplifting. But then when you got to the end and then you realize, no, that's an inspirational message. It's a
Yes.
motivational message. And that's what the book is about. It's about this bringing these wonderful 40 people together who have shared something at this time. And it's been really quite nice because a few people that I've connected with, they've been sitting at home on their own. So they've been completely disconnected with no other contact. And we're delighted to be, part of this where they could create their artwork, and it gave them maybe the little nudge to keep on track with what they were doing, so that would be inspired to keep working on their artwork, keep working on their poetry, keep writing, or whatever they were doing, is that just keep doing it at this time, because I think we needed that. So yeah, the book is colorful because it is going to be printed in color. As I say, there's lots of lovely graphic images in it. There's photographs in it. Yeah, so I feel it's in my baby. But it's a book for real people that you can flick through. And Jane, you've shared the uplift technique, which is a great, wonderful tool that people will find quite easy and straightforward
Yes.
to use.
I'm the queen of making it simple.
I
It's
love
got to be
that.
simple for me to be using it in my business.
Exactly. And I think this is the thing, is if people are looking through it, maybe that's what they need, or maybe there's just a quote that touches their heart, or maybe even just one of the pretty artwork in there, or a photograph that just helps them feel good.
I can't wait for it to come out in all of its glory. So throughout this process, I've been we've got many friends in common on social media, and I've been looking at all the coaches and healers and authors that we both know on social media, and everybody has gone through a real journey within this COVID-19 lockdown. And many of us have got really creative, some within business, some within the home and the garden. I've seen people are starting to write books. So with that in mind, if somebody was to want to write a book or want to write their story, that's something that you can help with too, with your coaching, and also helping to create it and put it all together. Is that right?
Yes, I mean, I see myself as a multifaceted diamond. I think a few of us are like that. We're
Yeah.
not just straightforward. We have many different tools from our wealth of experience. And I like to feel that, sort of, because I have a passion for writing, and have written both fiction and non-fiction books. And at the same time, I love my transformational life coaching, and I sort of like see the two coming together as the book when I step in as a book coach, because I can help people to come through that journey of creating and writing their story. Because if it's a personal story, it can actually be quite, as you say, a journey. And it can
Yes.
be emotional as well, depending on the story they're sharing. And I'm there to support them along that, and give them support on how best to create it, to write it, to structure it, to plan it. And then obviously then there is the publishing side of it as well. So producing that actual physical book at the end, because when you go through that, there's nothing like holding your first book baby.
Yeah, I can imagine. And all of the books that I've seen kind of come through you or be associated with you, they're all really beautiful.
I love color.
Yeah, so do I. And I know it's a book isn't what's that saying about a book and a cover not being,
Oh,
don't
you're
judge a
supposed to
book
not
by the
book
cover.
by its cover.
That's it. But I think you still got to have a pretty cover. It's got to look
Oh,
good, hasn't it?
I think so, because you say that, but actually as a book coach, when I would be working with someone, I would say the cover design is paramount. It has to reflect the type of story that you're telling, so it will attract the right reader.
Yes.
But that is the thing, is it's a selling point. It has to attract the reader, because you're up against millions of other books, and even in a bookstore or online bookstore, people are just seeing so many different ones, and it can be your cover that initially catches their eye, and then they'll read the book blurb, or maybe they'll just even buy the book because they like the cover.
Yeah.
So I think a cover actually is very important.
Very important, is it? It's like your branding, isn't it? And it's something that often evolves, especially when you're on social media. It really evolves as you grow and your business grows and your clientele, you get clear in your clientele. But when you've got a book, it is really worth spending quite a bit of time on that aspect, because when it's out, it's out. I mean, how easy is it to get updated versions and things like that?
Can be done. You have to then create second editions, and it can then be a little confusing, because sometimes then you get the two books being shown, and it's once your book is out there, you literally cannot take it back. So you need to make sure that you spend the time on getting it right. And then when it's out into the world, yes, you can make, depending on how you publish it, you can make some adjustments, new covers. With an ebook on Amazon, for example, you can swap out the cover reasonably easily. But if you've got like a dedicated ISBN number and you put it through the more traditional publishing routes, it's not easy to change. It's not easy.
Right. What other tips, like where would I start if I wanted to write a book? And I'm sure I will write my own book one day. Where would I start?
I think someone like you who has a business, I think I would say to you is, obviously, I think you would know if you have a story to tell, whether it's your own personal story that grows into your business, that you connect the two. So it's a good way of connecting, and potential new clients getting to know you, your story, and what you do. I would say to you, if you really haven't got anything written down, or you haven't journaled, or you haven't been doing any of that, I would say is have a look at your blogs. What have you been blogging about, and use those as a basis for creating your story. You're creating because the hard thing is to start from scratch. And if it's for your business, then I would say, what have you already produced that you could leverage or grow? So like, for example, some of your key blogs that maybe have been performing really well. If you can look at your stats, you could take those and okay, I'll use those, like 10 of those as key chapters,
That's brilliant.
and expand on those. And you don't have to start with nothing.
That's really good advice.
Because I think this is the thing about a lot of, particularly people in business, books are a great tool.
Mm.
to as a low cost product that people get to know you, because when you write and you write it in your voice, they'll
Yes.
get to know you, your voice, who you are, what you do, and there's an energy that'll go into your book when you write it yourself. I don't really like the whole ghostwriting thing, because I don't think
Mm.
then that's authentic. But if it's you, your true voice, your story that you're telling in the way you talk, when people pick it up, they will connect with you. They will go, yeah, this is the person for me. Or there'll be a disconnect where they're not the right client for you.
Yeah.
So I think it is important, yeah, to look at what you do and tell it how you would tell it.
Yes. Fantastic. That's really, really good advice. Um, and is there anything else, if there are people watching and they want to write a book, how would they get in touch with you if they feel like, oh, I really want to get in touch with Janet, I feel like she could be my coach through this? Who would you say are your ideal clients, or the people you like to work with the best?
People who are easy, please. Wouldn't
Yeah.
we all? No, no, someone who really who can see the benefit in it and come to it with the right attitude, that they're prepared to do the work. There is obviously, when you're working with someone as well, there is a level of, particularly if they're not au fait with writing, you have to be open a little bit of critique and support along the way,
Yeah.
because we want to, make this the best book, because there's a lot of people who are self-publishing books out there, and the quality and the writing and editing, and it's just so bad.
Mm,
And I don't know about you, but I can't read a book if there's I mean, the odd occasional error, course, yeah, we just ignore it and move on. But if there's lots, it just detracts and blocks the reader.
yeah.
So I would say, yeah, anyone who really is passionate about what they do, and, is willing to sort of put the work in, because I can't magic a book up for you. Well,
Mm,
some people would say they could, because they'll get somebody to ghostwrite it. But as I said, I want it to be you, your words, your
yes.
story. It's your book. You have to be in that book, and you've got to do the work, like everything in life, isn't it? You've got
It
to do the work.
is. It is. And when you're in flow and when it's something you love, the work isn't that hard. It's enjoyable, isn't it? Yeah.
And I think that's how the process should go, because I know when I've when I wrote my first fiction book, I put it off for 15 years because I just didn't think I could do it, and I was good enough and I could call myself a writer, and all of those issues.
Yeah.
And then got to finally, I'd run out of that many excuses. I thought, no, I've got to write the book. And when I sat down to do it, I had the most beautiful experience. It just was like a movie. I really loved it, really enjoyed it, loved my characters. And it should be like that. I mean, obviously,
Mm,
editing process is always a little bit painful when you have to cut and rewrite or whatever.
yeah.
Non-fiction style books a little bit easier than that, because they're more structured in a slightly different way
Yes.
than the creative writing. So I think if anyone's thinking of doing a book, why not? Because it's a wonderful tool to put out for your business. It
Mm,
really is.
fantastic. Thank you so much, Janet. Um, I hope this has helped lots of people that are perhaps struggling through this time. And you have a Facebook group. You have a couple of Facebook groups, but the one for the public, for the Uplift, what's that called?
It's on Facebook. It's just called Uplift Hub.
The Uplift Hub. So you
Uplift
will
Hub.
find lots of uplifting and inspirational stories and posts in there that you can jump into right now as the book is being created behind the scenes, and
Coming
we
soon.
will, yes, it is coming soon. um I'm really, really excited to be in it and for it to come out. Yay! And to do lots more interviews nearer the time with some of your key contributors in there as well.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Janet. It's a pleasure to have you on here again with another book.
Thank you, Jane. It's been always a pleasure to talk to you. Always have a great time.
Yes,
Thank
we
you.
do. And
do.
all of Janet's information, all of our information to connect with us is going to be above or below, depending on what social media platform you are watching this on. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.